It is all about canned pastry today in the sartorial kitchen. I'm starting off with a crescent sheet that I'm using to make a sausage roll. Then I'm taking canned biscuits and making pretzel bites, serving that up with homemade cheese and mustard dipping sauces. Then I'm taking a classic soup and making it bite-sized. And last but not least, French horns with a strawberry orange whipped cream. So why don't you pull up a chair and dine with me? Welcome back, everybody. Yes, I'm doing another canned food menu. This time we're focusing on canned biscuits. So much fun. So there's all kinds of different canned biscuits and rolls and different things. And people usually just take and bake. But I wanted to show that there are different things we can do with these ingredients. So that's what we're going to focus on today. And I'm starting with, this is a crescent sheet here. So it's like crescent rolls, but instead of being the little pieces that you take apart and bake, this is a full whole roll here. And then we just pop this baby open. And it should come right out. Perfect. So I'm making a sausage roll with this. And then we're just going to take this and unroll it. So we're going to start with some base flavorings here. I've got some honey mustard, honey Dijon. I'm just going to squirt a little here in the middle on both sides. And we'll take pastry brush here, and I'm just going to brush this so it's nice and even layer all the way around. And the same down here. Perfect. I've also got some Swiss. We're going to take a little of the Swiss. These are like classic German flavors here, mustard, Swiss. I've got some beef brats, so that's going to really kind of bring everything together here. And I'm just kind of breaking the Swiss in half. You don't have to be exact with it. Kind of staying in the middle. I don't want to go too close to the edge because we're going to seal these up. Then I've got some beef franks here. I like using this kind of sausage. It's already cooked, essentially. So you don't have to cook it first before throwing it in here. And let's see, I need 2 pieces. Okay, now we can roll up our pastry here. So I'm just going to come right over top here. And again, this is why I sprayed this down. And then we'll just come over, roll it over until that cheese is nice and covered. And then I'm going to kind of seal the edges here. We're going to push in like that. And again on this side, just kind of push in. And then the same with this side. Make sure you don't have any open seams, because that's going to keep this from cooking properly. And then again with this end. Then we'll take our knife. I'm going to cut this through the middle, and then we can kind of pull it apart from itself. There we go. Then I'm going to come in here. I've got an egg wash, just 1 egg and a little bit of water, and you beat that together. And we're going to brush this on top. That's going to make this, give it a nice sheen, help it get a nice crust on it when it bakes up. It's going to be beautiful. And then a couple other things. I'm going to just do a couple slits on this so the steam can escape and this bakes properly and it doesn't explode on us. And I want to throw a little kosher salt on here, or coarse salt, just to give it some nice flavor and texture. And this is ready for the oven. It's going to cook for about 13 to 15 minutes, just until it's nice and puffed up and golden brown. I've already got my oven set to 375, and then we will move on to our pretzel bites. Alright guys, we got our sausage roll baking off. Now we're going to move on to our pretzel bites. I've got a roll of the jumbo biscuits here. Some of them we're going to be using for another dish, and then some we'll be using for our pretzel bites. I've already got some boiling water going here. We're going to throw in a fourth cup of baking soda, and just stir that in to make sure it's dissolved. So it's just a little hack that I'm going to be showing you guys. And then I'm just going to kind of pull this apart. You can cut it up too if you want. We'll cut it, I should be able to get about 3 or so out of each piece of biscuit, and just kind of roll those up into like a ball shape. And the last of our dough. Perfect. So we're going to plop these in the water. And I want to be careful that they're not sticking together. They're literally going to cook in this mixture for about a minute tops. That's it. As soon as you throw them in, they're going to float up to the surface. And literally, not even a whole minute, I'm going to take my spider and pull them out. So this baking soda mixture, that's going to give us that kind of pretzel texture on the outside, so these don't just cook up like a regular biscuit once we bake them off. A little spider tool here, I'm just going to zhuzh these around a little bit to make sure they're not sticking. And I've got the timer going for the sausage roll, so I can use that to track my biscuits here. We're going to toss them in this melted butter, throw some kosher salt on them, and toss them in the oven. Alright, time to pull these guys out. I'm going to be careful not to get any of this water in here, because that's going to kind of mess everything up. And I'm just going to drop them right in. Make sure I get them all out of here. We can take that off the heat, and then I'm just going to toss these around in my melted butter. And then they're going to go right onto our little sheet pan. And we're going to use the spider again here, because I don't want a bunch of excess butter getting onto my sheet pan. Now you do want to be careful, because these are going to stick together. So we're going to kind of separate these, and they're a little warm. Alright, awesome. These are going to go in the oven about the same temp for about 10 to 12 minutes, just until they get nice and firm and cooked through. And our sausage roll is already looking amazing. Now we can move on to our dipping sauces. For the pretzels, I like to have cheese. So I've got some Velveeta here. I know, oh my gosh, processed cheese. But it's really a good cheese for dipping. It melts nicely. And I'm just going to cut a couple wedges off of here. And then we just cube it so it melts evenly. That, I'm going to squirt in just a little of our honey mustard here. About a half teaspoon, just to give it a little personality. And then we're also going to use some of this honey mustard for our sausage roll. And a splash of milk, about a 1/4 cup maybe. It's just going to help the cheese break down. This is going to go in my microwave. We'll probably do half-minute increments till it comes together. Now for the mustard, I'm going to add a little mayonnaise here. sriracha. We'll stir this up just until it comes together. Beautiful, 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 yes. I'm just gonna give it one last stir here. And that is perfect. So I've got 2 little plates here that I like to use for serving. So we'll do 1 sauce on each plate. And I think our sausage roll is ready to come out. Oh, look at that. Nice and golden brown. Alright. Let's slice this baby up. I'll turn it sideways, I think, so you can kind of see better what I'm doing here. And then I just come in here through the top. I like to do kind of a nice generous sized bite. So I'm getting like 7, I'm getting about 7 pieces out of this. Okay, so this is the plate for our sausage rolls, and just look at that. You can see the cheese is nice and melted, and so good. Plates like this, you can put your sauce in the middle, and then or just come out to the side with everything else, so it's better presentation. And this is a great, like, party food. It's kind of like your classic pigs in a blanket, but this one's elevated for the adults. Come in here, and I just want to let you get a look, see how gorgeous that turned out. And I'm just going to take this little end piece. Then I should be able to fit everything in here. And we'll dip just a little in our sauce. Yes. Bon appetit. So good. So, the pastry keeps the sausage nice and moist, and that's an all beef brat. If I didn't mention that earlier. The Swiss gives a nice little nuttiness. You get just enough salt from that sprinkling on top. The mustard. The sauce is nice and flavorful. So good. Now let's see if our pretzels are ready to come out. Yes! Look at these babies. Gorgeous! And we're going to come in with a little more of our finishing salt. Haha! And plop these right onto our plate. And they should just slide right off. I, however, forgot to spray this pan, so we live and we learn. And here we have it. Pretzel bites with cheese sauce. Let's grab a nice piece here. And again, we'll just come in here with the cheese. Nothing fancy with the cheese, it's just Velveeta. However, I did add just a tinge of Dijon to give it something. The pretzels are the star of the show here, so they're nice and soft and chewy, like a normal pretzel bite. You get that pretzel flavor though on the outside. The way this is kind of like crusted up. And that's from our little soak in the boiling baking soda water. So another little party appetizer down. I have one more to show you. And it is an adaptation of a dish that one of my friends showed me last season. So, this is... Okay, so on to our next dish. These are French onion soup bites. So this is based off a recipe that I got from my friend Phil last season. If you watched the finale, he did this, they were kind of like baked, it was like a baked version. And the grill, oh, it was so good. The onions got nice and tender and it was so flavorful. I thought it would be fun to do a breaded version of this, because with French onion soup you always have the piece of bread. So the biscuit's going to be our bread, and then the inside is going to be like our soup. So I'm going to the rest of our canned biscuits. I have 4 left. I just sliced them in half. So now I've got 8. Now I've got a few things for this. I've got some butter. I've got some bouillon cubes, so that's going to give us our soupy bits. And then I've got some caramelized onions that I've prepared earlier. I'm going to break our bouillon in half. We don't need a whole bouillon cube for one little biscuit. I think that would be too much. Okay, so I'm going to place the bouillon, and you can kind of break it up a little bit. That's going to actually help it cook down faster. And I don't even know that I need the whole piece of bouillon. Just enough to get that kind of beef flavor. And I think maybe one more, and it should be good here. Beautiful, yes, oh, it's gorgeous. Okay, and then our butter here. This is cold butter from out of the fridge. You don't want it melted, you want it nice and hard, so it takes longer to break down. And I'm just going to do a little cube of butter in each piece of the biscuit here. And I've got more of our Swiss. I'm going to get out a couple slices of the Swiss. And we're going to chop that up as well. Nice. And then we'll just take a couple here. I want this to have nice, gooey, cheesy flavor. That's the best part of the soup. At least for me anyways. And let's grab a spoon, and then we'll spoon out some of our caramelized onion mixture here. So caramelizing the onions ahead of time in the skillet is going to really help this come together, because the onions will not cook down inside of here for the amount of time it's going to take this biscuit to cook through. And then we'll just kind of load this up. I'm doing about a teaspoon or so. We can't do too much because we won't be able to seal our biscuit. This is going to be so good, so let's get rid of our skillet here. I've already sprayed this down. I did make sure I sprayed it this time. And then we're just going to kind of come up from the sides and seal this baby up like a nice little package. And I want to make sure that it's sealed good and tight. And then we'll place our sealed end on the bottom. I've got a little more egg wash here from before. So again, I just want to brush the top of these so they get a nice golden color on them. It just makes for better presentation. And I think I'm going to come in again with our flaky salt and just a little zhuzh on top. Beautiful. These are going to go in the oven just like before, 13 to 16 or so minutes, just until the dough is cooked through and nice and browned on top. And then I have one more dish I want to show you guys, and it's a dessert. Last but not least, guys, it is dessert time. And this time we are utilizing these little Swiss rolls. or orange rolls as they call them. But I am not making the orange rolls this time. I'm doing a French horn. If you're not familiar with that is, it's a French pastry. It's usually, well, it's cone-shaped like a horn, and then it's stuffed with different filling. Normally you would cut these into individual pieces and bake them off in a muffin tin or in like a cake pan, kind of smushed together. But I'm going to unroll these. So you see you get a nice long ribbon here. And you're going to need a cone for this, or a funnel. And then what I do is I start at the bottom, and then I want to make sure this is covered. And then we're going to slowly, and any kind of cone shape will work. So you take one, and then I'm going to take another piece here. And you just want to make sure that it's sealed on all the seams. So when we go to fill it later, none of our filling comes out. We have a beautiful little cone shape. And you may want to spray your mold as well to keep it from falling apart when you go to remove it. And then we're going to start over here on our next one. Okay, there is the last one. Perfect. These are going to be so good, you guys. So, again with our egg wash. Just to give it a nice sheen. Just have it come out nice and beautiful. So good. And instead of the kosher salt like we've been using on everything else, these are going to get a sprinkling of sugar. And then again turn it over so they all get the sugar. Lovely. Perfect. These will go in the oven around the same temp for about the same time. If you're not sure, you can always follow the directions on the package, but they're all roughly the same. So I'm going to prep a couple things that are going to really zhuzh up our French horns here. I got some strawberries, and you can use whatever fruit you like. They just happen to have strawberries on sale, and I love strawberries, so I thought I'd do that. And I'm cutting them into smaller pieces. I'm also going to be making a whipped cream, and we're going to fold these berries into. And that's what we're going to stuff the inside of our French horns with. And I think that's good. Then I want some heavy whipping cream. About a half a pint. That's about what I had left in here. And then I'm going to take the orange, what you would normally glaze the cinnamon rolls with, or the orange rolls with. And we're going to throw that in here. This is going to get stirred into our whipped cream just to give it some really nice flavor. And then I also want about a half cup of sugar and about a half teaspoon of vanilla. And then we're going to blend this up. Whip this by hand if you want. If you're going to have some sore arm muscles, and it's going to take a while. You could also buy a tub of Cool Whip if you want, and just kind of stir everything into it, but I like to do things from scratch, then I know where everything's coming from. But before I start whipping this up, let's check our Yes. Ooh, lovely. Look at those. Sweet. I'll give those a little bit of time to cool down. And then we'll finish up our whipped cream here. So I'm just going to come in. I'm going to start on a low speed. I don't like to go too fast because otherwise you'll be wearing it. Right. So you'll know it's done. You should be able to stand it up and it holds on itself. That's beautiful. Take these out. Now let's just give this a little taste here. Just to make sure everything is how I want it. Beautiful. Nice and sweet, but not too sweet. Then we'll drop in our strawberries. Our French horns are still cooking off, but we can go ahead and try one of our French onion soup bites. I'm going to grab a napkin because I'm feeling this is going to be just a little messy. And just look at that beautifully golden brown. You've got that flaky salt on top. So good. Oh my goodness. So you can get that really concentrated kind of soup flavor. And just look at that, those caramelized onions, the cheese. So good. Nice and rich and flavorful. I have to say, I've kind of outdone myself on these. So good. Now we just need to get our French horns out. Oh, look at that. Golden brown. So good. Now we gotta let these cool before we can stuff them, otherwise our whipped cream is just gonna melt everywhere. So as soon as they do, I will be right back with you guys. Okay, so these have cooled off nicely. And as you can see, they're nice and kind of hollow on the inside for us, which is perfect. So I'm gonna pick a good one here. And I'm just going to start spooning in our filling. I'm just going to take a little bit, and you could use a piping bag if you want it to get fancy. And if you don't care for whipped cream, you could also do a pastry cream. But I think the whipped cream's a little easier to manage. And I think I can fit about 2 spoonfuls in here. And then we'll garnish with some more of our strawberries, just so you know that there's strawberry in it. And then we have our cream puff. And here we go, guys. Got a paper towel here because I know this is going to be messy, but just look how gorgeous that is. So tasty. Perfect little dessert or breakfast treat. Yeah. So, you get a crunch. So you're getting a lot of texture from the Swiss roll part of it. And then you've got that whipped cream. It's just nice and luscious. Tons of that orange flavor from the frosting we utilized. And then the freshness of the strawberries just cuts through the richness of everything. Makes it super good. Yeah. Absolutely amazing, guys. So, I'm going to finish up here. But I thank you guys for joining me as always. Please like and subscribe. Hit me up in the comment section. And until next time, bon appetit.